I'm a private investigator. I've got this envelope that says Super Mayor. Inside I have from the United States District Court, Northern District of Illinois.
I am about to address some things as the supervisor. There will be no comments, there won't be anything. It'll just be me addressing you guys to tell you what's going on.
In the small town of Dolton, Illinois, chaos reigns, and at the center of it all is Mayor Tiffany Henyard, a self-proclaimed super mayor who seems determined to hold onto her power no matter what. Henyard, who was elected in 2021, has become the face of controversy, with accusations of lavish spending, misuse of taxpayer funds, and even retaliating against her political opponents. It's a mess that has captivated both the media and the local community, and people are wondering just how much longer she can hold on.
For a year now, we've been reporting on questionable spending by a South suburban politician named Tiffany Henyard, but we only knew half the story.
So what's the deal with this super mayor, and why is her administration under fire? Well, buckle up, because this story is filled with drama, scandal, and a whole lot of he said, she said. Let's start with Tiffany Henyard herself. She's an ambitious politician who, despite being relatively young, has managed to climb the ranks in local politics, serving as both the mayor of Dolton and the supervisor of Thornton Township. But with great power comes great scrutiny, and Henyard has found herself at the center of some very serious allegations. One of the biggest controversies surrounding Henyard is her alleged misuse of taxpayer money. According to an investigation led by former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, Henyard has been accused of using village funds for personal expenses, including extravagant purchases from places like Amazon and Wayfair. One particularly eyebrow-raising report shows that Henyard dropped a staggering $40,000 on Amazon in a single day with no clear explanation as to why. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Lightfoot's investigation also revealed that Dolton's general fund, which had a balance of over $5 million in 2022, had plummeted to a deficit of over $3 million by May 2024. That's right, under Henyard's leadership, the town's finances have taken a nosedive, and people are starting to ask some hard questions.
One way that the government always does it is to go and investigate people around her, and that's what they're doing here.
But the financial mess doesn't stop there. Henyard's administration has also reportedly failed to pay vendors, leaving the town's infrastructure and essential services hanging by a thread. According to Lightfoot's findings, nearly $6 million in checks were approved and printed, but never sent out to the vendors. This has left many local businesses and contractors in limbo, with some claiming they've had to halt ongoing projects because they couldn't afford to continue without payment. For a village already struggling with basic needs like repairing water mains, unpaid vendors only add to the growing list of complaints against Henyard's leadership. There's also growing concern about the way Henyard has intertwined her role as mayor with her position as Thornton Township supervisor. Critics have pointed to what they call cross-pollination between Dolton and Thornton Township, suggesting that public funds intended for one area may be getting used for another. Lightfoot herself has said that her team plans to dig deeper into this issue, particularly focusing on taxpayer-funded trips that Henyard took to Las Vegas in both 2022 and 2023. These trips, which reportedly cost thousands of dollars, have raised eyebrows, especially since Henyard has been vague about their official purpose.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
And if all that wasn't enough, Henyard's flashy public persona has added fuel to the fire. She's known for grandstanding at public events, often accompanied by a large entourage and an elaborate security detail made up of local police officers. Some residents have questioned why so many officers are assigned to her personal protection instead of patrolling the streets of Dolton, which has seen a spike in crime. At one point, her security detail was so extensive that it was costing the village over $1 million in overtime pay. For a town that's already millions in debt, critics are calling this a gross misuse of resources.
You know, wrong is wrong, and there's a time to hold people responsible and accountable for their actions.
But it's not just the spending that has people up in arms. Henyard's leadership style has also come under fire. She's been accused of creating a toxic environment in Dolton, where anyone who dares to question her is met with retaliation. Critics say she's used the police force as her personal security detail, often assigning officers to protect her around the clock, while the community suffers from a lack of police presence where it's most needed. In one particularly shocking instance, 2 police officers were found to have earned more in overtime pay than their actual salaries. One officer, whose salary was $87,295, racked up an additional $114,800 in overtime. That's a lot of extra hours for a town that's supposedly in financial crisis.
We needed those officers to be on the street fighting crime. And instead, we have several officers that are riding around protecting America.
Henyard, of course, denies any wrongdoing. In fact, she's gone on the defensive, claiming that all the criticism she's facing is simply a result of jealousy and racism. At a recent public meeting, she lashed out at her opponents, saying, "You all should be ashamed of yourselves because you all are black. You all are black. And you all sitting up here beating and attacking a black woman that's in power." She's framed the accusations against her as personal attacks, claiming that her critics are just upset because she's a successful black woman in a position of authority. But not everyone is buying it. Trustee Kiana Belcher, who has been one of Henyard's most vocal critics, fired back, saying, "What a slap in the face to everybody that resides in the 60419 zip code." Belcher, along with other trustees, has been pushing for more transparency and accountability in how the village's money is being spent. They've blocked payments to vendors that don't come with detailed explanations, and they've even frozen credit card spending in an attempt to curb the mayor's alleged shopping sprees.
Terminate his employment. I don't believe that is legally correct. That's just not the way municipalities operate, right?
But things took an even darker turn when Henyard started implying that she would seek the arrest of her political enemies. In a rambling 90-minute Facebook Live rant, Henyard claimed that she would be pressing charges against those who have opposed her, though she didn't specify what crimes they had supposedly committed. "I will be seeking arrests for individuals involved," she said. "I will be pressing charges." It's a lot. And that's just me telling you a little bit. It's a bold move for a mayor who's already under investigation herself. But Henyard has never been one to back down from a fight. In fact, she seems to thrive on the drama, often doubling down on her defiant stance whenever she's challenged. It's clear that she sees herself as untouchable, and she's not afraid to remind everyone of her position of power.
Very appreciative to receive the information today. We have the best mayor ever. I've been here since 1993.
But while Henyard may be confident in her authority, the community's patience is wearing thin. Residents have been vocal about their frustration with her leadership, especially as the town continues to sink further into debt. One resident, Andrea McKay, expressed her outrage at a recent meeting, saying, "My reaction was, I am devastated. I am devastated that this woman came into our town and spent all of our tax money. We have senior citizens that can't even afford basic necessities." Another resident, Valeria Stubbs, went even further, saying Tiffany needs to be locked up. She needs to be made an example out of. That she cannot go around using our money and spending it however she wants to spend it, like the job comes with a cash register. It's not just the financial mismanagement that's angering Dolton residents, though. Henyard's personal behavior has also raised some eyebrows. She's been known to show up to public meetings dressed like characters from gangster movies, and at one point she even had a DJ play Rihanna's song "Be Better Have My Money" while she strutted around the room. It's a move that some have called theatrical, and others have called downright disrespectful.
What I think is interesting about this case, this story, is you can be highly legal and unethical at the same time.
And if that weren't enough, Henyard is also facing eviction from her own home. According to her landlord, Janetta Hull, Henyard and her boyfriend, Kamal Woods, haven't paid rent since August, and they now owe over $5,000 in back rent. Hull, who once considered Henyard a friend, said she was pressured into renting her home to the mayor, but now regrets the decision. "I don't think the money is worth it," Hull said. As a mayor, you would think they would uphold positive citizen standards. You don't see that with these people. They just feel like they can do whatever they want.
Or the administration can adhere to some financial limits. We're not looking to necessarily...
It's a messy situation, to say the least, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better anytime soon. Henyard has made it clear that she's not going down without a fight. In fact, she's already announced that she'll be running for re-election in 2025, despite everything that's happened. But can she really survive all of this? The community seems to be divided. While some people still support her, believing that she's being unfairly targeted, others are calling for her to step down. Fan comments on social media reflect this split opinion. One user commented she better go to prison for hurting all those people and stealing all that money, while another pointed out she loves an audience that doesn't challenge her. So what's next for Tiffany Henyard? Will she be able to hold onto her power, or will the mounting scandals finally catch up to her? And how much longer can the people of Dolton put up with the chaos? One thing's for sure, this story is far from over. In the end, it raises some interesting questions. How much abuse of power are people willing to tolerate before demanding change? And is Henyard really a victim of political attacks, or is she simply using that narrative to deflect from her own misdeeds? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to stay tuned for more updates on this unfolding drama.